So the award for the best transparent case goes to the ESR Classic Hybrid MagSafe case.
Mom, I just won an Oscar.
So my biggest problem with clear cases are they don't offer good protection. And clear cases don't stay clear no more. They become yellow over time, like this. Having said that, this case from ESR just solved all of my problems. For instance, this case has tiny bumps all around the four corners. ESR calls it air guard corners, which absorb shock so that your iPhone survives occasional drop tests. Moreover, this case is wrapped all around by this rubber-like TPU composite and has a texture to it, which gives me the confidence that my iPhone won't slip off and fall from my hand. Additionally, this protection also extends to the camera module. This camera guard is raised to 0.5mm. As a result, it provides scratch-free protection whenever I lay my iPhone flat on the table. But the downside to this is there is a huge table wobble, especially when I press the top left corner of the phone. Having said that, the front of this case is also raised to 1.2mm, which again helps against drops if and when my iPhone falls face first. But what really concerns me about this case is that this case extends few millimeters into the bezel of the screen. So when I try to put on the case, it lifts up the screen protector along with it, which looks totally bad. So whenever you buy a tempered glass, make sure it doesn't cover the whole screen edge to edge. Make sure there's a tiny bit of gap in between. By the way, did I mention that I have concerns regarding scratches on clear cases? Well, this case is made out of acrylic, which makes it super scratch resistant, especially to daily objects like keys, and it is super clear, which definitely helps to show off your beautiful iPhone. On top of that, ESR says that it has some kind of anti-yellowing properties so that this case won't become yellow over time. Now only time will tell if that's true. So make sure you subscribe to this channel for an update on that. Now this case is MagSafe compatible and the magnets inside are proper. I mean, they are some of the strongest magnets out there. It will hold to any of your MagSafe accessories with a strong force. But what's really cool about this is that the magnetic ring is matte black, which perfectly complements my space black iPhone. Apart from that, this case is super light in weight and putting this case on and off is so easy. By the way, there is a small slit on top of the case near the speaker so that the audio coming off it is not muffled in any way. And coming to the buttons, they are some of the best clicky responsive buttons I've ever used on an iPhone. And to top that, this case has a mute cutout that is large enough even for my giant thumb. Now I can toggle on and off the mute button with ease. Coming on to the cutouts at the bottom, there are actually three main cutouts, two for the speakers and one for the lightning port. And the lightning port is big enough to accommodate lightning cable of any shape and size. By the way, did I mention that you can attach a lanyard to this case? And the cherry on top is that the price is only $27.
Next, the best slim case for your iPhone is this Pitaka MagEZ case Pro 3.
So I have been using Pitaka's MagEZ case for a couple of months now. And this is hands down my favorite case.
It's so good.
And here's why. So right out of the box, this case feels super light. It actually weighs around 35 grams, which is as heavy as a slice of bread. Pitaka uses aramid fiber, which is also known as Kevlar, used in bulletproof vests, helmets, armored vehicles, along with flexible TPU composite to make this case. As a result, this case is super light and strong. But generally, cases this thin suck in drop protection. But no, not this one. With the addition of aramid fiber and built-in air pockets all around the corners, this case provides decent shock and drop protection. Pitaka says that they have tested this for military-grade drop protection, and it shows. On top of that, this case has raised ridge in front, so even if your iPhone falls face down, your screen will be safe. But it's always better to use a tempered glass screen protector for an additional layer of protection.
Well, better safe than sorry.
Coming on to the inside of the case, the interior is lined by a soft cloth-like material, which again helps the iPhone from scratches while you're sliding the iPhone in and out of the case. By the way, there is a MagSafe ring you can see on the inside. And speaking of MagSafe, all my MagSafe accessories works very well with this case. They align perfectly and the magnetic strength is as good as Apple's MagSafe case. It doesn't have the strongest magnets like the ones you see on ESR or Nomad's cases, but these are pretty decent. But what I really love about this case is that it feels amazing in hand. It's got this unique smooth as well as soft texture to it. The best analogy I can come up with will be the feeling you get while you're stroking the feathers of a bird. It's that smooth and weird. And because of this unique texture, it doesn't attract any lint. More than that, the attention to detail in this case is on another level. The edges of this case is chamfered. As a result, the phone sits perfectly inside the grooves and crevices of my hand. My iPhone stays locked in and doesn't slip away. And how can you ignore the way this thing looks? It looks amazing.
You are so hot.
This aramid fiber weave makes this case look sporty and sophisticated at the same time. Moreover, these great design elements also extend to the camera module, where you can find the raised ridge which wraps all around the cameras and is also tapered, which makes this case look super cool. This ridge will definitely help with drop protection and scratches, but having a ridge always means that there will be some table wobble, and this is no different. Table wobble is apparent on top left corner with minimal wobble on the right. However, I'm happy to say that the buttons in this case are tactile and sharp, and the cutout for the mute button is also big enough for thumbs of any shape and size. Speaking of cutouts, the cutout for the lightning port is also wide, so if you are using a third-party cable like I do, then don't worry, it will fit right away. Overall, this is my favorite case for iPhone 14 series. It's super slim, super light and super good looking with decent drop protection.
Next, the award for the best grip case for your iPhone goes to Kadabe Synthesis.
So I have been using the Kadabe Synthesis for a while now, and I must say, this is so good.
I love it.
So what I really like about this case is that it's made like a tank. Kadabe says that they use some kind of shock absorbing polymer called Shocklite, which is known for its ruggedness and drop protection. And speaking of drop protection, this case can survive a drop from 2-meter height. Moreover, the case has raised ridge at the front and around the camera module. So when my phone falls from my hand, which will happen eventually, I know it will not break into million little pieces.
Just like my heart.
But what really surprised me was that this case is still so slim and feels super duper light in hand. It weighs in less than 40 grams. To put that in perspective, it is as heavy as an egg. Overall, this case doesn't add additional bulk at all to my iPhone. As a result, I can still use my iPhone one-handed. Speaking of hands, this case feels premium in the hand thanks to the exterior of the case, which now comes with not only one but two types of textures. First, a dot matrix pattern on the side, which provides additional grip while holding the iPhone. Secondly, it's got a texture on the back to enhance the overall grip and feel. And this definitely comes in handy while I'm playing games like PUBG Mobile, where this extra grip helps to precisely lock onto the targets while shooting, especially when my gyroscope is enabled. By the way, this case is also MagSafe compatible, and the magnets on this case is the strongest that I've ever seen on a phone case. Period. It's better than Nomad, and it's even better than ESR cases. And having this strong magnet means my MagSafe accessories will just stick and stay in place without any wobble whatsoever. Having said that, my only complaint about this case is that the buttons are slightly mushy. It's not as clicky as D-Brand's or ESR's case. However, the cutout for this mute button is large enough even for my giant thumb so that I can toggle on and off with ease. Additionally, cutout for the lightning port is big enough for any type of third-party cables. By the way,
Check this out.
there's a small protrusion at the bottom which acts like a ledge for my thumb, and this comes in handy while flicking my thumb for closing the apps. And on top of that, this case attracts attention but not lint, and it's priced at $40.
In the leather case category, the Apple leather case is simply the best.
I have been using the Apple leather case for iPhone 14 Pro for some time, and right out of the box, this case feels so light in my hand, and if you look closer, you will notice the Apple logo embossed ever so slightly. Other than that, there is no branding whatsoever. The craftsmanship on this case is top notch. The leather wraps all the way from the back to the edges and then inside of the case, unlike the cases from D-Brand, Rhino Shield or even Nomad for the matter, where they use a leather sticker on top of a TPU case and then call it a day. Having said that, I must say I could feel some flex to this, which can be concerning. Nevertheless, the leather in this case is exquisite. Moreover, it got some texture to it, which makes this case feel very nice and plush to hold. And on top of that, this case is coated with some hydrophobic coating. So if you spill water on this case, it won't damage the leather beneath. Coming onto the inside, it's lined with microfiber cloth, which helps keep this phone scratch free. And then you got this rounded markings inside the case, which tells you that this case is MagSafe compatible. And speaking of MagSafe, boy oh boy, these magnets are strong. I mean really strong. I feel they improved the magnetic strength from previous generations. But what I really like about this case is that this thing fits like a glove. It's got the perfect fit you will ever find in a case. And because of this tight fit, my iPhone feels so slim even after putting on the case on, and that's a really good thing. And as for the cutout, it's got 3 cutouts at the bottom, one for the speaker, one for the microphone, and one for the lightning cable. And the cutout for the lightning cable is quite big. So if you have a third-party lightning cable which is big and bulky, then don't worry, it will connect with ease. But as always, I didn't like the mute cutout. It's smaller and you need to use your nails to toggle on and off the mute switch. Next, we got the buttons, and they're made out of brushed aluminum. As a result, it feels premium to touch. And one thing you should definitely note is that these buttons are very mushy at first, but give it some time, and once the case breaks in, it starts to feel more tactile. Another thing that I really like about this case is that it's got some raised ridge all around the camera module. It's big and has dual tone, which is definitely a nice touch from Apple. And since it's raised, the camera module will remain protected from accidental drops. Speaking of accidental drops, I'm sorry to say this case won't do well in this category. I just got this case wounded from a drop from knee height, and that's its kryptonite. You simply can't trust this case if you have a habit of fumbling your iPhone like I do. Moreover, there is no raised ridges at the front of the case. So if your iPhone falls face first on concrete, then there is a very good chance that your iPhone screen may crack. Therefore, if you're planning on rocking this case, then make sure you have a tempered glass screen protector. By the way, this case comes in multiple colors to choose from, and Apple keeps adding new colorways year-round to keep it fresh. So if you get past the mediocre drop protection, this is actually a premium case, and it does come at a premium price. So if you're looking for a case that can survive a proper beatdown, then this Monarch Pro Kevlar case is just for you. Just look at this thing, looks straight out of Mad Max. By the way, this case has only 2 jobs to do. First job is to look as bad as a post-apocalyptic gadget can look, and second, to provide ultimate drop protection for your iPhone. Speaking of drop protection, this monster is made out of 5 layers of material. First, a shock-resistant core. Second, an armor frame. Next, it's layered with DuPont's Kevlar material, the real deal. On top of that, a polycarbonated shear plate, and finally an impact-resistant rubber surround. This thing is loaded. As a result, we have a drop protection of 25 feet. But do I need 25 feet of drop protection?
Maybe not.
But I don't mind it having it either. Speaking of protection, the front of this case has a raised ridge so that it will help your iPhone screen from shattering into pieces from occasional knockouts. Moreover, there is a raised ridge around the camera module which helps the lens from getting scratched when I place my phone on the table. But the problem with having a raised camera ridge is that there will be significant table wobble for sure. But no, not with this one. This has 0 table wobble, and I'm so impressed. UAG says that this case is MagSafe compatible, and yes, it is. But the problem with this is that the magnetic strength on this case is really weak. So be cautious if you are attaching a bulky MagSafe battery pack on top of this case. Chances are that it may slip and fall. And battery packs don't fall from grace so graciously. They break. And coming to the cutouts, the cutout for the ports are pretty wide, so accessing them is super easy. The buttons on the sides are large and tactile. But my main problem with this case is that it feels very big in hand. It's not heavy, but big.
If that makes sense.
This case does have a grip on the side though, which looks like a honeycomb pattern. But size is size, and it's still big in my hands. And then the price. This thing is so expensive, it comes around $100. I know it's made out of baby panda tears and exotic elements like vibranium, but I don't have that much money for a case. Maybe you work in a place which has pretty harsh conditions and your phone keeps falling from 25 feet. Maybe then it's worth. Otherwise, for normal Joes like us, it's better we stick with a normal case like the UAG Pathfinder case. Click here to watch the review right now. I'll see you there.